that we're going to be answering today that you guys have already asked. We wanted to answer on the last live stream, but we didn't have enough time. So someone asks.
Can you pause for a second? We're not live on YouTube.
Oh, looks like we're not live on YouTube.
Oh, okay, we're good now.
We're good now. So are we live on YouTube? We're having some issues. We're trying to figure out if we're live on YouTube. I'm going to answer some questions though. So someone asks, is e-commerce is in Amazon or like Shopify? Not Amazon, probably just Shopify. Someone says undercover billionaire. Yeah, it's kind of similar. That dude's a billionaire though. I'm not. So he's actually not a billionaire. They actually made that up because it was a good title. He's worth a couple $100 million though, but he's a little bit smarter than me. Happy Grady says you weren't. It just went live. Shit. So are we? So now we're live on YouTube.
Live,
okay.
but we missed the beginning.
We missed the beginning. YouTube. All good. We're just saying hi. This live stream, YouTube's gonna be really fun. I'm just answering questions. We had a lot of questions that we didn't get to answer last week that I'm going to be answering on this live stream. So if you have questions, put them in the chat box. I'll get to those as well. But I do want to get to the questions that we had last week that I wasn't able to get to. Now, I do want to let you all know I have to jump off. I have a hard stop today at 12:55 CST. I have a meeting at 1, so I do have a hard stop. If you want to go live with me to ask your questions live on YouTube, for anyone that's not on YouTube right now, Deirdre is going to drop the link in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook, or just on YouTube?
Yeah, I can drop it on Facebook.
Okay, she's going to drop it on YouTube and on Facebook. Jared, what's going on, man? You let me know that I'm live, so that's good. Okay, so a lot of stuff has happened over the last week. A lot of crazy stuff. It's been a pretty crazy week. I was actually, for the first time during the project, actually feeling a little bit down about my progress. Underwhelming progress. But right when that feeling came about, I immediately, very quickly, that same day defaulted to kind of 3 things. And you'll probably see this in an upcoming YouTube video, but I was like, wow, like even though I haven't made the progress that I've wanted to make, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, well, is there someone else that looks like me, that's similar to me, that's in the same situation as me, that's achieved what I wanted to achieve? So I want to ask you that. Is there someone that looks like you, that's in your same situation, that has achieved what you want to achieve? For me, my goal, I need to make $1 million in 12 months. I only have like 9 months left. Has someone done that? Fuck yeah, they have. If someone else has done it, I can do it, right? And if someone else has done that looks like you or is in the same situation that you're in, what you're trying to do, you can do it too. So that was one thing my head defaulted to pretty quickly. The second was, am I healthy? Is my family healthy? Yes. Well, that's all that matters. Nothing else really matters outside of that. And the third was, am I giving it my absolute all? Am I putting everything in? And you know, even if you're not, I don't think you should judge yourself too hard. But for me, like, I'm giving my all and I'm learning so much as I go. So kind of lit a fire this weekend though, because I was like, damn, I'm not as far along as I want to be. It lit this fire, and then this weekend I just fucking crushed. I lined up 4 or 5 sales calls. I landed a huge client this weekend that I'm like still working with on like figuring out like if we're definitely going to move forward and all this stuff. But it's like a huge tech company that raised over $100 million, and it looks like I'm going to be running their social media if things go well. We'll find out. But yeah, so I guess going into this week, I got a lot to do. This weekend, I also went to the farmer's market. All right, so this is super cool. Went to the farmer's market. I think I don't know if other people do this. Do other people do this? If you run an econ business, let me know if you do this. Let me know if you do this. I went to the farmer's market to find e-commerce product companies to partner with. So it's like these people at farmers markets, like they probably aren't the best when it comes to marketing. It'd be cool to maybe find some products, see what's doing well at the farmers market, and potentially partner with some people. And I talked to a lot of people and learned a lot of really cool things. And I have some meetings lined up this week with some of the people I met. I don't know, is this a strategy other people use or not? I'm very curious. But specifically, there's a coffee company that I met that I'm going to be meeting with this week that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about their product. I'm really excited about potentially partnering with them in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean like equity partnership. That might mean like having them do my coffee product in terms of fulfillment and doing something called private labeling. I think that's what they call it, where like I just create the packaging and use their coffee. So really solid weekend. Again, this tech company's raised over $100 million and should be running their social, which is super cool. It's also really cool, when I want to talk about really cool, or really quickly, is a lot of you guys are like, fuck, like I don't have experience, I don't have this, I don't have that. I had no social media experience at all. Like I had no experience behind some of the things I've done for the clients I've gotten throughout this project. And I was asked to create a playbook. I was like, what the fuck's a playbook? So I go on Google, I look up a playbook, go, okay, this is what a playbook is, I guess. And I just use my best judgment and put my best effort in, and the client's either going to like it or they're not. Now the thing is, over the past couple months, I've become an expert in Instagram and TikTok. Like I understand the platform very, 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 very well. And just looking at what this client's currently doing, they're not doing Instagram well. So I know I can add a lot of value. I think it's being very confident in yourself, which I don't have a problem with. I'm overconfident. So it's, that's not an issue. I'm just explaining this in terms of like where my head's at with all this. I was asked to do certain things. I've never done them before. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So we'll see how it goes. All right, now for some questions. I know we got a lot of questions here. Let's see. So I'm going to start with some ones in TikTok. If you guys do want to go live with me, the link was dropped on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope to go live. Okay, so questions. Aaron says, hey man, what's up? Okay, so someone says they do show up at farmers markets. I met the company Turo there. Yeah, Turo is actually a really cool company. I've cold emailed them and talked to some people in the recruiting department. Okay, the same person says, you typically find brand new startups at farmers markets, fairs, career fairs, and a bit better. Okay, yeah, that's super cool. So like, yeah, that's what my assumption was. You can find like startups and people that have, like, I don't want to spend time doing packaging and all this type of stuff. Like I need to move. So like I figured I could find some like companies that are in the early stage that need help with marketing. All right, so let's get to Instagram comments. Let's see. Someone says, Alberto joined. Okay, guys, super cool. Alberto, I went live with Alberto last week on YouTube, which you guys should go watch. Alberto is a 17-year-old kid, 17 years old. And during the live stream, I helped him get some mentors. We sat down and I was like, okay, who do you want to talk to? And I got him the emails and just kind of showed him how to reach out to people and et cetera. Within the last week, 17 years old, he lined up a couple different meetings, one of them with what he described as a multi-millionaire real estate investor, which he wants to get into real estate investing. And he is now working for that person for free. I think his first day is today. Congratulations, Alberto. You are actually taking action, unlike 99% of people that don't take this advice. If a 17-year-old kid can go out and do this, you guys can do it too. Be like Alberto. Alberto, if he keeps executing, within the next month, we just average things out, he's going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 different mentors that are real estate investors that have made millions of dollars in the space. Every single mentor he gets is connected. They have a network of people that they can now connect Alberto with. This is how you get ahead of the game, my friends. This is the cheat code. It is called networking, cold DMing, cold emailing people that you, I don't want to say want to be, that's the wrong word. People that are at the place that you want to be. So people that are, I'm going to say it again, I say this all the time, 1 step, 2 steps, 5 steps ahead of you. That's how you if you want to go from being, okay, here's someone that's 1 step ahead of me, here's someone that's 3 steps ahead of me, you want to leapfrog and get to that 3 steps ahead, you talk to people that are 4 or 5, you talk to all these people. That's the cheat code. Kirsten says, congrats, Alberto, that's awesome. I'm proud of you, my man. I'm proud of you. Here's the thing. Alberto, when he was messaging me, he was like, all right. He's like, thanks so much, man. Like, I cannot thank you enough for all this. Like, I couldn't have done this without you. I was like, dude, all I did was give you advice. You executed. You fucking executed. You didn't sit down, listen to stupid shit, consume shit. You fucking executed. So Alberto, congrats. Okay, cool. So let's get to some more comments. Someone says, "Don't give up." Never giving up, baby. All right, cool stuff. If you guys have comments, again, here to answer your questions, put them in the comment field. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some comments that you guys have left last week that I was not able to get to. So let me put them on the screen. Okay, so Alberto comments that he just got back from a meeting with her. How'd it go, Alberto? I didn't realize Alberto was still on the live. How was your first day? Oh, we have some questions on Instagram. I didn't know you could even do that. Okay, someone asked, how do you get clients? Alberto, let me get to your question, or let me know the answer to how the meeting went. Awesome. Okay, Alberto said it went awesome. That's super amazing, dude. Okay, cool stuff. So let me do some of the questions that we had last week. So let's see. Okay, someone had asked, do you offer the same hourly rate for everyone who takes the test and pays for however many hours they claim it took them? Okay, cool. So this is in regards to hiring freelancers overseas. This person wants to know if I do the same hourly rate for everyone that applies and takes the tests. So there's multiple ways to go about doing this when you're offering a paid test. One way that I've done it is we just cap the hours. So we're like, okay, whatever your hourly rate is, we cap it at, say, 10 hours. So you can't go over 10 hours. If you're $7 an hour, then the most you're going to get paid is 70. That's one way we've done it. The second way I've done it with bigger tests is like we'll do half the hourly rate. The third way we've done it is we'll just do like a set fixed rate for the test. I think all of them work. It's not really that big of a deal in terms of how you approach it. I think it's just important that if you're going to have a test that's going to take a lot of time, that you pay people for it. Okay, so hiring, I guess we're going to stick to this subject for a second in terms of hiring freelancers overseas. So what all do you have them sign? Okay, great question. When you're hiring freelancers overseas, there's a lot less documentation they have to sign compared to freelancers in the US. At least that's what I do. I don't want to give legal advice, but like in the US, when it comes to like, I guess like taxes at the end of the year, I need to file 1099s for anyone in the US I paid over $600. I don't have to do that for anyone overseas. So I don't make them sign a W-9. So what I do make them sign is a service agreement that explains like their hourly rate, all that stuff. I make them sign an NDA, non-solicitation, and I think that's really it. I don't think there's anything else. I use DocuSign, makes it really easy. I have templates. I just click buttons and it just shoots it out to them, and then I have it stored in the cloud. US contractors, though, there's a lot more things that I have them sign. Again, not legal advice. This is just what I do. People that work in person right now, I have them sign a liability waiver just because of COVID. I don't want people to sue me and say like, oh, I got COVID because I had to work here. I have them sign a W-9, which then allows me to send them a 1099 at the end of the year if I pay them more than $600. And yeah, just the typical like NDA non-solicitation stuff. Okay. Another question someone had asked is, where does someone with no startup experience begin? You're starting this econ marketing business, but I have no idea how to do something like that. Okay, so that's a fear that a lot of people have. What you need to figure out is, number one, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And then number two, what do you want to do in terms of the business? So when you're running an agency or any type of business, really agencies though, you have really two sides of the business. The first is like the business side of running a business, operations, marketing, sales, all that stuff. The other side is the technical side, the expertise. If you're starting an ecom marketing business, the expertise is marketing e-commerce products. So that might be like Facebook ads, that might be doing creative, that might be running Etsy stores, Amazon PPC, all that stuff, right? If I don't know how to do that, which by the way, I don't, that means I need to get someone that knows that, right? And then I can leverage their portfolio. That's what I did early on in this project. I didn't get any clients from it though, but I created a whole site around it. And I interviewed a bunch of people, and I was like, hey, I'm going to have you do all the fulfillment. Can I use your portfolio? They said yes. Then I can use their portfolio and use them to close deals as long as I have them do the work. I run the business. I do the sales. I do the marketing. I do operations, leadership. If we're going to hire more people, I'm going to hire them. I'm going to manage them. That person hopefully can do hiring and managing if they become like an employee or something. But one thing you don't want to do is right out the gate partner with someone. Don't ever do that. Don't be like, okay, well, I'll be the business and then I'll find someone to do the expertise or the technical side, but I've never worked with them before. You got to work with people first. You wouldn't just marry someone unless you're on the show 90 Day Fiance that you just met. My girlfriend's laughing because that's like that was our go-to show, I guess, during quarantine. You wouldn't just marry someone that you just met. You got to date first and all that stuff. So you don't know someone until you work with them. So don't partner right out the gate. I see a lot of people do that. I've made that mistake, and I've really paid the price for that in the past. Cool stuff. Okay, quick update. Alberto says it was a great time. We went over contracts and a client with her. So he got his first experience doing all that stuff. So that's super cool. Next question. Back to hiring freelancers overseas. Are there any complicated, okay, this is a good question. Are there any complicated legal issues with paying them and with them being overseas? Okay, again, not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give legal advice, but it is significant, from my perspective, running my company, Told Media, much easier with the legal stuff. They're overseas, you don't have to worry as much about certain legal issues. Paying them is not that big of a deal. So like paying them really depends on where they're located. Some countries suck. Like Ukraine, their government fucking sucks when it comes to payments. Like it is very hard to pay people in Ukraine. They block it's really frustrating. There's some countries like that. And with Ukraine, you have to send a wire. Like it is the best way to pay someone in Ukraine is using a wire. Other countries, a lot of other countries overseas, TransferWise is typically my go-to. I don't like using PayPal because they take too much fees from the person I'm sending the money to. So I love TransferWise for most places that we outsource to. Colombia is also a little bit weird with payments, so I use wires. I have an office in Medellin, Colombia at Told Media. We have all of our South America team, for the most part, is based out of there. So I pay everyone with wire transfers. But yeah, no real issues with that type of stuff. Again, it's actually a lot easier doing things overseas than it is legally with people in the U.S. Again, not legal advice here. Where that maybe becomes an issue is if you're working with like the government. You can't work with the government, I believe, and be doing stuff overseas. It has to be U.S. based. So you gotta be careful of that type of stuff. All right, so someone had asked, why do you need $5,000 to $20,000 to start an econ business? So the reason for that, the answer is you don't. You don't actually need $5,000 to $20,000. The reason I want to start with $5,000 to $20,000 is I don't like going into businesses undercapitalized. The majority of that $5,000 to $20,000 is really for ad spend. It is what I call a burn budget. A burn budget is when you don't know enough about something and you need to pretty much test. So like, let's say I have like 10 product ideas. I could test that with maybe $1,000 per product and run Facebook ads. This is what so we didn't film any of this or make any of this live just because it didn't go with like our YouTube videos well, but I reached out to a bunch of econ people. They're doing really well that run multi-million-dollar stores. And this is the recommendations that they gave me. They're like, hey, they said 5,000. I just quadrupled it because I think, again, I'd rather have extra capital to put into inventory and things like that. But it's for product testing with Facebook ads. So it's really kind of an ad budget. So that's why. Again, you don't need that amount of money. I'm meeting with someone that to start this like coffee business potentially. And because I'd be working with him, maybe I can work out some things where it's a lot less money to actually get started. Maybe I don't scale the product on with Facebook ads. Maybe I do it with influencers. So let's think about this here. If we're trying to be real scrappy, maybe we don't start with running Facebook ads, right? Maybe we create a product together. He's my like wholesaler, I guess, for the coffee grounds. I get a supplier for like the actual bag that it comes in. He just fills the stuff in the bag. We throw a sticker on it, and then I partner with a bunch of TikTok influencers, and we blow this thing up on TikTok and give them a percentage of revenue. Then my only costs here are, number one, hiring someone to create the graphics for the coffee. Number two, I might have to file an LLC. Number three, will have to buy the bags. And number four, I guess I won't have to buy product until I sell it, right? So then I guess the next step would be go and find influencers, talk to those influencers, give them percent of revenue when they sell it, and then I can take that capital and buy the beans and the product from this coffee person I'm trying to work with. So you don't need $5,000. You can do it all, bootstrap wise. You don't have to take that approach. All fired up food. Says black gold, that coffee. I love it. He's saying that because that's our brand colors. Okay, next question. This is about mentors. Someone had asked, once I email someone to see if they would be my mentor, what do I say on the call? Do I just start asking them questions? Love this question, by the way. I'm huge on mentors. If you guys haven't realized, we're coming out with a 3-part series on getting mentors. Our first video launches tomorrow. And it'll be, again, 3-part series. One of those, of the 3-part series, will be how do you actually conduct these calls? The way you do it is, like, you don't want to just reach out to people for no reason. You want to go in with a purpose, right? So when I go into those calls, there's some form of purpose and questions I'm ready to ask. You can write them down if you want. I don't do that. I've never really been super into that. Sometimes I do. If it's like real quick, I'll just write some stuff on a notepad of like, here's things I definitely want to talk about. But you go into it. I always start those calls off with a personal conversation. I never go into it and just like start at, like, I'll go real personal, be like, oh, how's it going? How's your week been? What are you up to this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. I'll learn about the person, be like, thank you so much for getting on the phone with me. Like, I can't thank you enough. So I show a lot of gratitude on that call. Unbelievable amount of gratitude. You have to show gratitude because this person just gave you a bunch of time and they didn't have to do that. So I show immense amount of gratitude. I also show, I guess it's also gratitude, but like I'll try to add value. I'll be like, I'll either know how I'm going to add value or I'm going to be like, hey, like, is there anything I can do for you? And that's a way of showing gratitude, but also potentially adding value. Then when we get into the call, I'm asking my questions. And then at the end of the call, again, immense amount of gratitude and any way I can add value. And that's just not like a tactic. It's just called being a good human being. Like if someone gives you their time, try to figure out how to help them back, right? And the ways that you can add value, by the way, there's a lot of ways that you can add value. A lot of people don't think that they can add value for some reason. I guarantee you can find a way to add value. If there's something you're good at, like say podcasting, and they want to start a podcast, maybe you can teach them how to do that. Your network, you potentially have a network of people that you can introduce them to be really helpful for something they're working on. Offer to do something for them for free. I think I put up something on mentors, or maybe it's coming out in one of the videos that we're producing. On one of the emails I had sent someone, it was an agency owner that runs a very successful agency in Philly that I'd reached out to, and he sat down with me. And in the email, I was like, hey man, I'll do your bitch work. Like, do you have bitch work you can send me? I'll do bitch work as a thank you for you helping me out. Maybe do some bitch work. Like, figure out ways you can add value. At the very least, let them know in the form of a question, like, what can I do for you? Thank you so much. What can I do for you? Okay, so I'm going to try to answer some more questions here. Erica, 24, what's up, Erica? Asks, any tips on getting involved in software being a finance major? That's really funny, Erica, because I went to Penn State for finance, most useless degree, absolutely useless. But with that being said, I had no tech background. So your degree is useless, Erica. I'm speaking this from someone that graduated with a finance degree. If you want to go work on Wall Street, great. Like, you can do that. But in terms of getting into software, everyone who is listening, you do not need a degree to get into tech. You do not need a degree to get into software. You don't need a degree to do most things, guys. But being a finance major, I've always been in entrepreneurship. I've started a lot of companies. I started my first company at 16. If you want to get into software, just start doing it. Like you have to figure out though, Erica, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Erica, when it comes to software? The best way to figure out what do you want to do, because there's a lot of different things in software and in tech. You have to talk to a lot of people. So talk to people that are what are called product managers. Learn the term product management. I didn't know what product management was, and Told Media is a product management agency until like a year into running Told Media. I was like, oh, that's what I am, a product manager. I just didn't realize it. So for all you listening, look up what a product manager is, and then look up like different roles in tech. So there's product managers, there's project managers, there's software engineers, and in software engineering, there's front-end development, there's UX, there's UI design, there's back-end development, there's AI, there's data, there's servers. There's a lot of different things in tech. There is design, and then design's broken down to like web design, mobile design. The best way to learn about all these things is to talk to a lot of people. There's customer success. Talk to a lot of these people in the tech world and learn more about those different types of roles, and then just do stuff. Just meet people, do stuff. Again, for me, I started a tech company that failed, quotes, and that's how I learned a lot about tech. The more people you meet, the more people you network with, the quicker you'll learn this stuff. So Erica says, I haven't gone far with the degree, looking to switch it up. Thanks for the advice. Erica, by the way, I think finance is a great major. Most majors are worthless, right? Like whatever you're going to major in is going to be worthless. You might as well get a degree like finance. You know what's funny? Everyone, when I went to school, I originally was a marketing major. I went to school for marketing for half a semester. And I was super fortunate that I had a friend who had an older brother who was about to graduate, and he had a bunch of friends. And I talked to him. I was like, what should I major in? Like, marketing seems like a bad major. Thank God, like, definitely bad. For all you marketing majors, like, just fuck. Not a good major. I talked to them, and I was like, hey, like, what should I major in? They're like, dude, major in finance or accounting, and you can always do marketing. But the vice versa is a lot harder. It's hard to major in marketing and then be a finance person because you don't learn the technical finance stuff as a marketing major. But as a finance major, you can work in marketing. You know what's funny, guys? My very first real internship, I was a finance major, and I got an internship doing marketing at Dun & Bradstreet for a summer, which is like my first corporate marketing internship. I was a finance major. So I think that's super interesting. I think finance is if you're going to get a degree in business, finance, econ, accounting, those are good majors. Just because like it's hard to do the vice versa. It's hard to go for marketing and then go into finance. You're going to put a lot of time and effort into stuff outside of class, even though you do it anyway. I put a lot of work outside of class to build certain skill set just on paper to these morons that just care about a degree. They see finance versus marketing and they care about that stuff, I guess. Okay, so Jack Wagon asked, Erica, I hope that was helpful, by the way. You know what? One more piece of advice here, guys. If you are doing the college route, if you're getting a degree, the most important thing, period, putting a period before I even end the sentence, is that you do shit outside of class. Do shit outside of class. Join every freaking club that you're interested in. Every club you're interested. Start companies. Join competitions. Do as much outside of class as you could possibly do. When I was a finance major, I got an internship at Merrill Lynch. No clue who Merrill Lynch was when I went into the interview, which is hilarious. And I was able to get the job, even though I didn't know who the company was. But the reason I got the interview is because I started some companies. They liked that on my resume. I was in every different club I could possibly be in, like consulting, the finance club, the real estate investing club. I had leadership positions. So like do as much. I did a bunch of competitions. I won a bunch of competitions. A lot of like business plan competitions, a lot of, what are they called? Like consulting competitions. Do as much of that stuff outside of class. If you are going to be in school, like the actual classes don't mean shit. The only thing you got to do is get your GPA as inflated as possible. So figure out the easiest way to get a high GPA. Not saying you should cheat, not saying I cheated my ass off, not saying I hired people off Upwork to do my homework, but get your GPA as high as possible and do as much as possible outside of class. And that's my advice for people that are going to go to college. Okay, so Jack Wagon asks, how much did the fail cost money you against the value? I don't know what that means. Against the value you gain. Oh, okay, for the startup. I don't know. That's hard to answer, Jack Wagon. Honestly, I don't know the answer to how much it cost. What I can say is the value. So what Jack Wagon's asking is like I mentioned I had a failed startup. Oh wow, there's a lot of comments here on YouTube I got to answer. Jack Wagon, I said I had a failed startup, and he asked if there was a like value gain to like the amount that I had lost in terms of money. The answer is absolutely fucking yes. So like the coolest thing about running a business is all the fuck ups are learning opportunities. Like all I did was learn. Like think about like how much you're going to learn if you go start a business. You have to learn sales, marketing, hiring, management, leadership. You have to learn how to build products. You have to learn how to work with other people. You have to learn just so many things. It'll be worth it. If you can lose the least amount of money possible, great. Like don't like invest a shit ton of money if you don't have to. You want to go what's called lean. Read the Lean Startup if you don't know too much about that. But the answer is significant value to cost ratio, we'll call it. Okay. So we got some more questions that are live, so I'll try to get to those. Sicecore says, hey, what's up, Sicecore? He says, have you ever had to hire someone who will check if your client's website app is hack-proof for like penetration testing? Which for those of you guys that don't know what penetration testing is, it's like in cybersecurity. Companies will hire hackers to hack them and let them know what the vulnerabilities are. And this person's saying, okay, so his question, he said he's doing market research and seeing if the market's big enough to start that business. Okay, that's a huge market, my man. I have a buddy that actually works at a private equity investment firm that invests in cybersecurity companies. That is a very, I don't know much about the market, but I know it's very big and it's growing very, very quickly. I have friends that work in the space that do very well financially. If that's the type of stuff you do, that's the type of stuff you like, my advice for you, Sicecore, is get mentors. Go on LinkedIn, find people that are in that space, that are in senior level roles, that run private equity companies, which I call those people mass connectors. Talk to CEOs of these types of companies in the cybersecurity space, maybe the tech world. Talk to people investing in that space. Talk to people that are in consulting firms like Deloitte that are hired to do that stuff. Talk to those types of people. Cold DM them, get their email, talk to them. They'll be able to answer your questions. Okay, some more questions. Let's see, we've got a lot of people joining. Someone says learning from failing is good. Yes, it is. Erica says that helped. I graduated 2 years ago and just been so lost, but looking into new things. You got this, Erica. Here's the thing. No one knows what the fuck they're doing, right? Like there's this ridiculous thought. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's from parents. I don't know. That you need to have your shit figured out when you get out of college. And the truth is, almost no one has their shit figured out. What you need to do is do as many things as possible so you can figure out what you like doing. I think it's really interesting that like people are like, do what you're passionate about, do what you're passionate about. Like quite frankly, like any type of business that I start, I'd be passionate about running the business. I don't know if I'd be necessarily passionate about the cause of the business that I'd be running, but like, if you just do a bunch of stuff, you'll start figuring out, okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like it. Oh, I really like this. So maybe if you really love helping people craft their message, but you maybe hate banking, you don't want to go, oh shit, well, I hate banking, so I can't do that. Like you want to maybe find another company that you could go do that for. So you just got to test a lot of stuff. But don't worry about not having things figured out. Just be excited that you have a lot of growth that is potentially on the horizon. If you just start testing some stuff, just start doing some stuff. I mean, for me, with this project, there's a lot of things I had to test with and figure out, like, okay, what's going to be what I'm actually going to be pursuing. When I'm trying to figure things out, Erica, one of the things that I do I think it's really helpful for me is I sit back and I think about like what is most important for me. And I just start with if I had $10 million, what does that look like? Like what would I actually do if I was totally financially set and I didn't have to worry about money? What would you be doing? What would that look like? And you know what's funny? When you start thinking about that, okay, let's think about this real quick. Okay, I have $10 million. What am I going to do? Well, my head defaults to impact. How am I going to help people now? What am I going to do to help people? Let's say you're super passionate about helping, I don't know, like kids get off the streets. You're super passionate about that. Then you're like, okay, how am I going to solve this problem now that I have $10 million? Well, guess what? You can solve that problem now. You can help solve that problem now. You can go and donate your time right now. And I think that's really interesting is when you start thinking about those things, oh, well, if I had all this money, I would give back and do that. Like you can do that now, everyone. You can start doing it now. So you start learning a little bit about yourself and realize like a lot of these things don't require money to get to those things. The next thing I look at is a couple different variations of like what I'm going to get out of a certain opportunity. And this comes out of like, what type of work-life balance am I going to get? What type of freedom will I have? And freedom for me is like working remotely, etc., making my own hours, doing that type of stuff. Who am I going to meet? What am I going to learn? What type of influence will it create? What are the financial implications of this opportunity? Those are the types of things that I would think about when evaluating opportunities and thinking like, what do I actually want to do? And putting a weight on those things, like really think about like, what do I value the most? For me, I would say at the top of my list right now, and by the way, everyone, you have different things you care about at different points in your life, right? Like right now, I just care about learning and growing as much as possible. For me, because the more that I learn, the more that I grow, the better that I get, the more impact I'll be able to make in the world. So the most important thing for me is like put as much fucking time in now so I can better serve people later. And right now, this whole project is to help people. If I did not, everyone listen up. If I did not start all those companies that did not work out before doing this, I wouldn't be in the position I am now to actually go and do this project, which honestly, like it would have been nice to wait another year, 2, 3 years to grow more, but the best time is fucking now, okay? But again, looking at long term, it's like all these things have led me to this position to be able to do what I'm trying to do and make an impact that I want to make. There's still a lot more impact that I want to make. There's still a lot more of the journey left that's much further ahead after this project. But for me, again, it's really being focused on how do I grow as much as possible, and I'm happy to put those 100 hours weeks in now. Maybe in 3 years, I only want to work 40 hours a week. I don't know. So consider those things. Hope that's helpful, Erica. Okay. Some more questions here. Okay, so we have, someone asked, have you done government contracts? Yes, I had a SaaS company called Mapify, and we signed some government contracts. Cool thing about government contracts is once you get them, you're locked in. The thing that sucks about government contracts is the sales cycle is very, very, very long. SiceCore says, thank you very much. I hope that was helpful, SiceCore. Okay. So we got a lot of people joining. Everyone that's joining, how's it going? We're going to get back to, let me see if we have any more questions I didn't get to on YouTube. So Jared asked, what version of HubSpot CRM do you recommend starting with? Jared, I would start with the most affordable one. It is the starter plan. So the difference between the starter plan and the second plan, which is like professional, I don't know what it's called, but the HubSpot's crazy. It goes from $500 a month to $500 a month. Fucking insane. It's a 10x difference in price. It's crazy. The difference is automation. So with the starter plan versus the professional plan, you can set up all these automations for like, okay, now they're this part of the sales cycle or the funnel. Send this automated email. Oh, this happened, trigger this email. This happened, we need to do like all these automations are set up through that professional plan. You can do that manually to start. I would try to get some revenue generating and coming through before you go and upgrade to a $500 a month plan if you're trying to bootstrap here. Or check out other companies like Pipedrive that don't charge absurd prices for that type of stuff. I didn't love Pipedrive when I checked it out. I did it very quickly though, so I don't have a great opinion on it. I do like HubSpot better though from the little that I use Pipedrive. Okay, more questions. What's up? Chase says, let's go. Let's see. Okay, so let me get back to these questions from last week. Okay, we answer this question, answer this question. Answer this question. Okay, so hiring freelancers. Do you still pay them through PayPal once they're working for you? Again, no, we answered that. I do pay them through PayPal though for the test. I didn't mention that. I do use PayPal typically for the test, and then I will move them to something like TransferWise because PayPal takes pretty ridiculous fees. Someone says, are the freelancers you hired in direct contact with your customer? How do you organize that? That's a really good question. You have to be really careful with that stuff, right? Especially with overseas, with language barriers, all that type of stuff. It really depends. I've had a lot of issues when I've integrated and put contractors in front of clients. You need to work with the contractor and know who you're working with, right? Like, if anyone on our team's in a lead role or a project management role, they're interfacing with the client. Anyone on a US team, I will put in front of clients. Anyone on an overseas team, if they're a contributor, I typically won't put them in front of a client. If they're a lead or a project manager, I will put them on a client. You got to evaluate things like English level skills, professionalism, things like that. If they don't have that, I'd be very, very careful. Again, I've had some serious issues where we actually had to fire a couple people. When we started Toll Media, my development agency, we started in the Ukraine. I had to fire 6 people. 2 of them were extremely rude to the client. I made a huge mistake of even putting them in front of the client instead of having the lead engineer on our US team integrating. And they're extremely rude. Client had a conversation with me about it. I talked to them about it. I let them know, like, you can't talk like this to the client. Like, you can talk to me like this, but you can't do it to the client. They did it again. I gave them a final warning. You're going to be fired. And they did it again. Fired them. So you do have to be very careful with that type of stuff. Okay, so we got through a majority of the questions from last week. Here's a live question. Nick asks, can you walk through how to create a piece of content or show us one you created in the past for a client? I don't want to show you guys the stuff I created for a client because of NDA stuff, especially because my biggest client's a law firm and they had me sign a crazy NDA. But in terms of the types of content that I put together for, I mean, it's really kind of like based off who you're working with, Nick. So I don't think it's like, hey, let's see what the content looks like. I think it's like when you're approaching this type of stuff with whoever you're working with, at a very high level, you need to understand strategy. You need to help them explain to you, like, who is their customer? Who are they trying to serve? Who are they trying to help? Okay, great. They're trying to help these types of people. How do we want to communicate? What's our brand voice look like? Then you figure out strategy based off each platform. So on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, we're going to have a certain strategy. Instagram Reels, TikTok, if we're using TikTok, we're going to have a certain strategy. We want to repurpose that content. We're going to have a certain strategy for that. We have to leverage stories, certain strategy for that. Are they creating YouTube content? Great. That's long-form content. Maybe we can repurpose some of that for the other platforms. Maybe we want to start cross-promoting platforms. So it really depends on who you're working with. This big tech company I'm working with now, as long as they don't fire me anytime soon, I'm like really just focused on Instagram and Instagram Reels to start, not as much their other platforms. Their other platforms are a little bit more developed. Instagram is not as developed. So for them, it's like really crafting strategy, really understanding who they're trying to communicate to, how do we communicate their messaging? And then like some people you have to convince on certain things, like do they take a risk and be one of the first companies to use something like Instagram Reels? Instagram Reels is new, TikTok's new. How do we create content for that? Especially for a company, not an individual. It's much different, right? Especially if you're working with a big corporate company. How the hell do you create content for Instagram Reels? There's not a lot of other companies to look at to see how they're doing it. So there's all this opportunity to be a leader in the space right now with things like Instagram Reels. It's not just TikTok, guys. It's not like, oh, we have to figure out how to do TikTok. It's like Instagram Reels is like, I can't show you guys my phone. I was just actually shooting a video like this earlier. Everyone who's watching right now, if you go on Instagram and you go to the Discover page, 60% of the Discover page is an Instagram Reel. The majority of the Discover page is a huge Instagram Reel. If you're not creating content for Instagram Reels, you're not getting that huge space on the Discover page. You're losing. You're losing out on potential audience reach. So it's good to start figuring these things out now. You can clarify yourself as an expert and a leader in that type of content, which is what I'm trying to do right now. If you're curious about how you go about doing that, study it. If you look at the statistics on my phone, I spend over 2 hours a day on TikTok, looking through TikTok, seeing how people are creating content on TikTok. I've become an expert at creating content for that platform by studying it, by testing stuff myself, by seeing what's working for other people. Instagram Reels, it's very similar. Same thing. They ripped off TikTok, right? It just, right now it's capped at 30 seconds instead of a minute. Hope that answers your question, Nick. Sorry I can't walk you through some stuff. A bunch of people are saying SciScore gang. I don't know what's going on with this SciScore thing, but maybe SciScore, I guess you maybe shared this. If anyone else wants to share the live stream, much appreciated, SciScore, whatever you did here. What's up, SciScores gang? Thanks for joining. Okay, so I've been seeing things come through on Instagram. There's a lot of people. Stojanov says hello. Hey, Stojanov. And Marcus says hello. What's going on, my man? Someone says nice. This is old stuff. I don't want to read off some old stuff, but everyone that's joining, thanks for joining. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. We have not too much time left. We're going to be ending this pretty shortly because I have a client call that I have to. I have a call that I have to jump on in at 1 p.m. So we're going to stop pretty shortly. I do want to read this because this just caught my eye on TikTok. Someone says, I am $20,000 in debt from student loans. How do I make money, either e-commerce or something else? That's the, oh, I still have Nick's question on here. Let me get this off. Let me pop that off here. There we go. Okay, so the question's about student loans, $20,000 debt student loans. How do I make money? That's the problem with college. It's crazy, it's mind-boggling to me that we go into all this debt to go to college for a worthless degree. Being in debt really sucks. It's not fun. It puts you back, and now you have to make cash. Instead of investing cash into yourself, you have to invest the cash into paying off this worthless degree. So $20,000 in debt. The question is, how do I make money, either e-commerce or something else? Okay, so the first thing is, I would just be focused on anyone that's in debt that's listening right now. Pay the debt off. Get the debt paid off as quickly as possible. I went $50,000 in debt from some failed startup stuff and some bad contracts when I started Toll Media. $50,000 in debt. So you have a lot less debt than I do, Sebastian, or that I did. Sorry, like 3 years ago when I had to pay off 50 grand in debt. What I did is I worked 100 hours a week on my business, and I put every single dime that I made into paying off the debt, and I was able to pay off that debt in like 6 months. So my suggestion for you, Sebastian, is to look into running a service business. Look into something that generates cash flow. E-commerce companies don't always generate cash flow. They kind of can suck up cash flow. Like a service business, you don't need any money to get started. You can start an agency right now with almost no money, like $100. You can start doing services for people. You can find people to do the services, and then you can start scaling, right? With an e-commerce business, you might have to invest money, $1,000, $5,000, $20,000. I don't know enough about e-commerce to give suggestions on how to do things a little differently. I'm about to learn e-commerce, but I don't know enough about it to give suggestions, Sebastian. The one thing I can say, though, is service businesses generate cash flow, not needing any money at all. $100 maybe for domain, website, all that stuff. That's it. Then, Sebastian, when you make money, you don't feed yourself. Do not feed yourself. Don't pay yourself. I can't say this enough, guys. And even if it's not paying off debt, like whatever you're doing, if you're building a business, don't pay yourself. Pay the business. Make as much money you need to survive. Cut down. Make sacrifices. Put all the money into the business. If you have debt, put as much money as possible into paying off the debt. in some of the money into growing the business until that debt is zero. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. How many people I know that have college debt that are investing in the stock market and they're investing in stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Pay off the fucking debt. Don't have debt. Why are you investing in stocks? It makes no fucking sense. You're paying credit card debt of 18%, but you think you're going to make it big with the stock market? Like, come on, guys. Pay off your debt. So, Sebastian, I don't know if you have stocks or anything like that. Take all your money out of stocks, pay off your debt. Sebastian says, it has become difficult finding a job or doing something without college for me. Okay, Sebastian, go on Upwork.com, figure out something that you're good at, like customer service, virtual assistant, social media marketing, software development, or find someone that is good at something and sell their services. It's like right now, you could go and start a software development agency. All you need to do is find someone who's really good at software development, and then let's say you pay them $50 an hour. You need to find someone that'll pay you $70 an hour, and you just need to make the match, and then you make $20 an hour. That's how you build a software development agency. That's why I do at Toll Media. I've never written a line of code. But if there's things that you're good at, start off maybe on Upwork.com, find jobs that you can do as a freelancer. Like, dude, I didn't know anything about social media marketing before this project. I knew nothing. And now I'm signing contracts, $2,000 a month retainers. You know why? I studied the platform. I got good at the platforms. Study TikTok, study Instagram Reels, study how to post, look at what people are doing, and then now you're an expert. Go do it for free for like one person, build a little portfolio real quick. This is a way to move real quick, and then go get clients. But what I want you to do, Sebastian, is I want you to niche down. This is where people fuck up. They don't niche down. So either be very niche in your service. Like, don't be a marketer. Be a TikTok content creator for people. Niche down. Or in terms of the actual market you go after, if you want to be a marketer for accountants, marketer for real estate agents, marketer for e-commerce. Just focus on one thing. Just fucking real estate agents. We're going to help you get more business. You'll convert higher. You'll know who to get in front of, etc. Okay, so Sebastian says, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Hit me up. Everyone that's listening, if you have questions, DM me on Instagram, Sebastian, if you have follow-up questions. So you can only answer so much here. Okay, we have like, I have to end this stream. I'll do one more question, and then I'll get off here. So I guess SciScore shared it on Instagram. SciScore, I appreciate you, my man. Thanks for sharing the live stream. Okay, so someone asks, and this is the last one. Yes, how did you earn your first money? So for the project, this project, we'll talk about this project, so I think that's what you're referring to. The first money that I earned was, I flipped couches. So I flipped couches. So anyone can do this. Everyone that's listening, any of you can do this right now. It doesn't matter how much money, as long as you have a phone. All I had when I started this project, no place to live, phone with internet, one pair of clothes. That's it. Went on my phone. I found people on Craigslist in the free section that were listing stuff. I pretty much ripped that stuff, put it on Facebook Marketplace, sold it for say $100, and then split it 50-50 with them. So I made $50, they made $50. First 3 days of this project, so going from like homeless to 3 days later, I had made, I think, $350 in profit doing this method. And the way it works is you find stuff for free on Craigslist, you get them on a phone call, and you say, hey, I actually help people sell their stuff. I can get you $100 for your couch, and I can probably sell it faster than you. They care about speed, not money, when they're listing for free. I can sell it faster than you. I market stuff on Facebook Marketplace. List on Facebook Marketplace, put a $5 ad budget if you want to sell it a little bit faster, list it, and then sell it. And you'll typically be able to sell it faster than they can on Craigslist if you get to the listing early enough. So that's what I was doing to earn my first dollars. But guys, I got a call that I got to jump on. Everyone, thank you so much for joining this live stream. This is a lot of fun. I love answering you guys' questions. For anyone that's watching on the live stream, if you have additional questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at Mike Black. And if you want to be a guest on our next live stream, again, feel free to DM me on Instagram. That being said, everyone, have a great rest of your week. Go crush it this week. I will see you guys in the next live stream.